The mechanic named Darren walked into the royal hangar with slow steps. His boots echoed on the metal floor as he looked around at the huge ships and bright gold walls. He was only called here to fix a broken power unit. Nothing more. He never expected anything strange today. But then he heard a weak breath, a sound so soft it felt like it came from the end of the world. He turned and saw a long glass chamber. Inside it lay the Dragon Lady, Princess Lysara of the Draken line. Her silver scales had lost their shine, and her wings were folded tight like tired blankets. Her eyes were half open but dim like fading stars. Everyone in the galaxy knew she was dying. A rare illness was destroying her energy. No one could heal it. No technology could save her. Her royal family stood around her, watching helplessly. Darren did not belong here. Humans were not allowed near royal blood. But one of the guards waved him in anyway, thinking he was here for the chamber's energy system. Darren walked closer with a confused face. He felt small in front of the tall Draken nobles who glared at him with cold eyes. They whispered to each other, wondering why a simple mechanic was allowed to step into their sacred place. As Darren moved near the chamber, he felt warmth from the glass, like something inside was still fighting to live. He looked at the princess. Even in her weak state, she looked powerful like a sleeping storm. He could see a soft glow around her, something ancient, something strange. He checked the energy cables, pretending he was doing his real job. But then the chamber lights flickered. A warning symbol flashed. Darren reacted fast, thinking it was just a normal power problem. He reached out to steady the panel. His hand brushed against the glass. The moment his fingers touched it, everything froze. A soft gasp filled the room. The royal family turned sharply. The guards tensed. The glass began to glow under Darren's hand as if it came alive. A warm pulse passed through the chamber and into the princess's body. Lysara's dull eyes flickered. Darren jumped back. He didn't mean to touch her. He didn't mean for any of this to happen. But his skin still tingled. The chamber hummed like a deep heartbeat waking from sleep. The princess drew in a long breath, stronger than before. Her silver scales shimmered faintly. The dull light returned to her wings. It was small, weak but real. Her mother, Queen Saraline, covered her mouth in shock. Her father took a step forward, not believing what he was seeing. Darren stared at his own hand, shaking. He wasn't magic. He wasn't special. He was just a mechanic who fixed engines and wires. But something inside him felt warm, like a quiet fire had been waiting for this moment. A healer rushed forward, scanning the chamber. Numbers climbed on the screen. The princess's life energy was rising. Slowly, carefully, but definitely rising. One of the nobles whispered, "Impossible? Humans cannot interact with Draken life force." Another said, "He touched her." And she responded. Darren felt everyone's eyes on him. He stepped back, scared he had done something wrong. He tried to speak but his voice broke. I didn't do anything. It was an accident." But the queen moved toward him with slow and careful steps. Her eyes were full of fear, hope, and confusion. She looked at the fading glow on the glass, then at Darren. "What did you do?" she asked softly. Darren swallowed hard. "Nothing. I swear. I just touched the glass." Before anyone could speak again, the princess's voice whispered, weak but clear. Again, the warmth, "Bring it back." Everyone turned to her, shocked. She had not spoken in days. Darren froze. He looked at her, then at the queen, unsure if he should even breathe. The queen stared at him with wide eyes. "Human, you may hold the key to saving my daughter." Darren felt the weight of her words. He had walked in to fix a machine. Now he stood in front of a miracle he didn't understand, with a royal family watching him like he carried the fate of their world. And the fading light of the Dragon Lady flickered again, as if calling for him. Darren stood frozen as the chamber lights glowed brighter. He had no idea what was happening or why the Dragon Lady reacted to him. He was just a human mechanic, someone who repaired wires and engines. Nothing more. Yet every Draken noble in the room stared at him like he carried a hidden power. The queen spoke again, her voice low but steady. "Do it once more. Touch the chamber." Darren felt his heart race. He shook his head slowly. "I don't know what I did. I don't want to hurt her." "You didn't hurt her," the healer said. "Her life energy rose when you touched the glass. That has never happened before." One of the guards stepped closer, his voice sharp. "Obey the queen." Darren took a shaky breath and stepped toward the chamber again. He raised his hand carefully as if the glass might burn him. The princess lay inside, her silver scales flickering like fading moonlight. Her breathing was still weak, but she was awake now, looking straight at him. Her eyes were soft, tired, but full of something he couldn't understand. He placed his fingertips on the glass. Instantly the chamber reacted. A warm pulse spread from the point of contact. The glow around Princess Lysara brightened, flowing across her wings and through the long lines of her tail. The hum returned, steady and deep like a living heartbeat. Darren felt something move inside him. Something warm, something gentle, something that felt like a small sun rising in his chest. But it didn't hurt. It didn't scare him. It simply flowed through him and into the chamber. Lysara's scales shimmered brighter. Her breathing strengthened. The queen gasped. Nobles leaned in, eyes wide. Even the guards stepped back in surprise. Darren pulled his hand away quickly, frightened by the sudden power. The glow slowly faded but did not disappear completely. The princess's breathing held steady. The healer checked the readings again. Her energy is stabilizing, he said. This is not possible. Humans do not share life force patterns with dragons. The princess opened her mouth, her voice soft and slow. His touch calms the burn inside me. It reaches the sickness. It pushes it back. Darren stared at her. I'm just a mechanic. I don't have anything special. But the queen looked at him with sharp eyes. Perhaps you do. Or perhaps there is something ancient that even we do not understand. One of the nobles stepped forward, glaring at Darren. This could be a danger. No human has ever affected our kind this way. Another added, what if it is a trick? What if his presence is harming her in a way we do not yet see? Darren took a step back, fear rising inside him. I don't want trouble. I didn't come here for this. I only came to fix the power unit. But then the princess's weak voice reached him again. Please, do not leave. Everyone went silent. The queen knelt beside the chamber, her hands shaking. She looked at her daughter, then at Darren. Human, she said quietly, if you can help her live, I beg you to stay. Darren felt his stomach twist. He never imagined a queen would ever speak to him like that. He felt the weight of the moment pressing on his shoulders. He wasn't sure he could carry it. But he looked at the princess, so pale, so tired, yet fighting so hard to live. Something inside him softened. He couldn't walk away. Not when she looked at him with such trust. He nodded slowly. I'll try. The healer quickly adjusted the chamber controls. We will monitor her reaction closely. If the human touch can help her heal, we must keep the energy stable. Darren approached the chamber again, more carefully this time. He placed his hand on the glass once more. The warm pulse returned, even stronger now. The light swirled around the princess like gentle ribbons of energy. Lysara's eyes closed, but not in weakness. She looked peaceful, like she was finally resting without pain. Darren felt the warmth inside him rise again, but now he did not pull away. He let it flow into the chamber. He didn't understand it, but he could feel the princess's energy reaching out, responding to his own. Minutes passed. The princess's breathing grew steady and smooth. Her color brightened. She looked more alive than she had in days. The healer whispered, "She is healing." The queen's eyes filled with tears. The nobles fell silent. Even the guards looked stunned. But Darren felt something strange, a pull deep inside him. The more he touched the chamber, the more the warmth inside him grew. It didn't hurt, but it felt like a secret waking up. He didn't know what it meant. He only knew one thing. His touch was impossible. And yet, the impossible was happening right in front of them. Darren returned to the chamber the next morning with slow, unsure steps. He had barely slept. His mind kept repeating the moment when Princess Lysara's scales glowed under his touch. It felt unreal, like a dream he couldn't escape. He was a mechanic. A normal human. He wasn't supposed to heal royal dragon blood. But as he entered the hall again, he saw the queen, the king, the nobles, and the guards all standing in silence, waiting for him. It made him even more nervous. They looked at him not like a simple worker but like someone important. Someone dangerous or precious. He didn't know which. Princess Lysara rested in the chamber. She looked stronger today. Her eyes opened when she sensed him, and a tiny smile formed on her tired face. "You came back," she whispered. Darren nodded awkwardly. "You asked me to." The queen stepped forward, her voice controlled but shaking slightly. "Human, we must understand what is happening. When you touched the chamber yesterday, my daughter's strength rose. Overnight, she continued to improve. No medicine has ever done this." Darren looked down at his hands. "I don't know how it works." That was the truth. He didn't feel powerful. He didn't feel special. He just felt connected, somehow, to the strange warm energy inside him. The healer stepped beside him. "We want to observe your interaction again. If you agree. Darren hesitated, but then he looked at Lysara again. She looked hopeful, something he had not seen in her eyes before. That gave him courage. I'll help, he said softly. He placed his hand on the glass. The glow began instantly, warmer and brighter than yesterday. The energy spread in smooth waves across the chamber. Lysara's scales shined like polished silver, and her wings lifted slightly, as if they were waking from a long, heavy sleep. Her breath deepened. Her eyes closed, but she looked peaceful. The pain in her face faded. But something new happened this time. Darren felt a soft presence touch his mind. It wasn't a voice, not exactly. It was like a feeling reaching out to him, gentle, curious, grateful. He felt warmth from her, not only through the chamber but inside his thoughts. He stepped back suddenly, startled. The glow faded, but Lysara still looked better than before. The queen noticed his expression. What happened? Darren swallowed. I felt something. Like she was inside my head. Not speaking but reaching. The healer looked stunned. A bond? Between species? This is unheard of. A noble stepped forward, clearly worried. This could be dangerous. What if the human's mind is influencing her? Or worse, hers influencing him? Darren shook his head quickly. No, it wasn't scary. It felt gentle. Lysara opened her eyes again, her voice soft but steady. I felt it too. Your warmth reached me. Not only through the chamber. Through something deeper. The nobles began whispering fast. The king raised a hand, stopping them. He stepped toward Darren with slow, heavy steps. My daughter's life has hung between life and death for weeks, he said. No healer could help her. No machine could fix her. Yet you touched the chamber and her strength returned. Now you say there is a connection between your minds. Darren nodded slowly, unsure of what to say. The king studied him with sharp golden eyes. Human, do you understand what this means? No, Darren said honestly. The king's expression softened just a little. It means you are now tied to the royal bloodline in a way no outsider has ever been. You carry something that can heal her. Something ancient. Something lost. Darren felt pressure building in his chest. He didn't want power. He didn't want to be important. He just wanted to help the princess survive. Lysara spoke again. When you touched the chamber, I could feel your heart, your fear, your kindness. Your warmth pushed the sickness away. She paused, breathing slowly. You did not force it. You shared it. Darren looked at her through the glowing glass. I didn't choose this. But I won't run from it. The queen stepped closer to him. Then understand this. The bond you formed yesterday and today, it is no small thing. A connection like this can shape the future of our people. The nobles murmured nervously. Some looked hopeful. Others looked worried. Darren felt overwhelmed, but he tried to stay calm. He placed his hand on the chamber again, but lightly this time. The glow returned, not bright but soft and steady. Lysara closed her eyes with comfort. Your presence makes the pain fade. Darren felt the warmth inside him respond, like it wanted to help her without him even thinking. And for the first time he understood. This bond was real. And it was growing stronger. Not because of power or royalty or rules, but because the dying dragon lady trusted him, and he could not turn away from her. A bond no one expected, yet one neither of them could deny. Darren returned to the chamber again, this time feeling the bond even before he entered the room. It tugged gently at him like a soft pull on his heart. He didn't understand it, but it felt natural now, almost familiar. The guards opened the doors for him without a word. Everyone watched him enter as if he carried something more valuable than all their treasures. Princess Lysara looked even stronger today. Her scales glimmered like morning light, and her eyes were clear and calm. But she wasn't fully healed. A faint dullness still clung to the edges of her wings. The sickness was not gone yet, only pushed back. She lifted her gaze to him and smiled. You can feel it too, can't you? Darren nodded. Yes. It's like a quiet voice inside me. The healer and the queen stepped closer, listening carefully. Lysara breathed slowly. My illness is not only sickness. It is a message. Darren frowned. A message? The healer looked confused. Princess, what do you mean? Lysara closed her eyes as if trying to remember something far away. When the sickness first started, it was like a heavy fog in my mind. I could feel pain, fear, confusion. But when Darren touched the chamber, the fog opened. Something inside the illness spoke. Darren stared in shock. The queen covered her mouth. The healer quickly activated his scanner. Princess, how can an illness speak? Lysara shook her head. Not words. Feelings. Images. It showed me an old symbol. Something ancient. Something my people forgot. The lights in the chamber flickered, reacting to her rising energy. Darren stepped closer, curious but worried. What kind of symbol? With slow effort, the princess raised her claw and traced a shape on the glowing glass. It was simple but sharp, like a sun with broken rays. The queen gasped. The crest of the first flame. The nobles whispered nervously. Darren looked at the symbol again. What is it? The king, who had been silent until now, stepped forward with a dark, serious expression. It is a mark from the earliest days of our people. Before we used technology. Before we ruled the stars. It belonged to the first dragons, who healed not with machines but with life itself. Darren felt a chill. So her sickness is connected to something ancient? The healer nodded slowly. It may not be a normal illness. It could be a dormant power waking inside her. A power her body cannot handle alone. Lysara looked at Darren. Until he touched the chamber. Everyone turned to him at once. Darren felt extremely small. I still don't know what I'm doing. But you do it, Lysara whispered. The queen stepped closer to the chamber, her voice strong but gentle. If the first flame is awakening inside her, then only those with compatible life force can guide it. No dragon could do it. But a human. Somehow your energy balances hers. Darren ran a hand through his hair. This doesn't make sense. Why me? Lysara's eyes softened. When you touched the chamber, I felt a spark that matched the first flame inside me. Your warmth didn't hurt the sickness. It understood it. The nobles murmured louder. Some looked hopeful. Others looked scared. The healer studied Darren with new eyes. There are old stories, he said slowly, of humans once sharing energy with dragons in the ancient past, during the Age of Lost Worlds. Darren blinked. Humans and dragons? Sharing energy? They were myths, the healer said. Until now. Darren stepped closer to the chamber again. He pressed his hand on the glass. The glow returned instantly, but this time it didn't spread randomly. It moved in patterns, lines, curves, symbols. They wrapped around Lysara like a gentle fire made of light. She gasped softly, not in pain but in recognition. This is the message. These symbols, they match the ones in the fog. Darren felt the warmth inside him shift, as if responding to her discovery. The queen leaned closer to the healer. What does this mean? The healer's voice shook. The illness is not destroying her. It is trying to unlock something inside her. Something only awakened when connected with the human. Darren felt the bond pull stronger. He could sense Lysara's emotions, fear, hope, curiosity, and something deeper. Something warm. Lysara whispered, the sickness is not my enemy. It is my door. And Darren, you are the key. The chamber pulsed brighter. The ancient symbol on the glass glowed like fire. Darren's breath caught. Then, we're supposed to do this. Together. Lysara nodded slowly, her eyes shining. Our bond is not an accident. It is the message hidden in my illness. Everyone in the room stood silent, realizing the truth. The sickness had awakened an ancient power. And only the human who touched her heart could guide it. Darren approached the chamber one last time, his steps steady now. The fear that once filled him had become something else. Responsibility, courage, and a strange warmth he could not explain. The bond between him and Princess Lysara was no longer a mystery. It was real, strong, and alive inside both of them. Everyone stood silently as he moved forward. The queen, the king, the nobles, the guards, and the healer, all waited with tense hope. The princess watched him with calm, glowing eyes. Her illness had revealed its hidden truth, and now the final step was in front of them. Lysara whispered, "Are you ready?" Darren nodded slowly. "If you are." She smiled softly. "With you here, I'm not afraid." Darren placed his hand on the glass. This time the glow did not start small. It burst outward like a rising sun. Warm light filled the chamber and spread across the room. Darren felt the warmth inside him ignite stronger than ever before, like a bright flame waking from sleep. But it didn't burn. It moved gently through him like flowing water or a calm fire. Lysara's body glowed with the same light. The ancient symbols appeared again, swirling around her in smooth, living patterns. Her wings lifted, the dull edges fading as her silver scales shimmered with full strength. The healer stared at the readings, shocked. Her energy is rising far beyond normal levels, but stable. Completely stable. The queen took a step closer, tears in her eyes. She is healing. The king's voice shook. Complete the bond, human. Guide the flame. Darren felt the bond pulling at him, not painfully but with gentle trust. He let his mind relax, letting the connection open fully. He felt Lysara's emotions, hope, fear, strength, gratitude. And she felt his concern, courage, and a deep desire to help her live. Light spread like wings around the chamber. Then everything changed. Darren felt the sickness inside Lysara's body. It was not darkness anymore. It was like a locked door, glowing faintly. The first flame had been trapped behind it, unable to awaken. He reached toward it with his warmth, not touching it physically but with his energy. Lysara gasped softly. "I feel it. You're guiding it." Darren pushed the warmth forward gently. The locked door inside her burst open. Light exploded from Lysara's body, bright, warm, and powerful. Her wings unfolded fully, shining with silver fire. Her claws glowed like tempered metal. Her tail moved with strength she hadn't felt in months. The ancient energy inside her awakened completely. The chamber hummed like a great heartbeat. Darren stumbled back, overwhelmed by the light, but he did not break the bond. He held onto it firmly, guiding the energy until it settled inside her like a calm sun. Slowly the light faded. Lysara stood tall in the chamber, no longer weak, no longer sick. Her scales sparkled like starlight. Her eyes glowed like bright silver flames. She was healed. Completely. The queen sobbed and ran to the chamber. The king bowed his head, overcome with emotion. Nobles stared, unable to speak. Guards dropped to one knee in respect. Lysara pressed her hand against the inside of the glass. "Darren, you saved me." He smiled weakly. "You saved yourself. I just helped." She shook her head softly. "Without you, the first flame would have consumed me. You gave me balance. You gave me strength. You gave me life." The chamber opened with a soft hiss. For the first time since he arrived, Darren saw her step out. She stood tall and graceful, her wings folded behind her. She looked at him like he was not a mechanic, but something far greater. The king walked toward Darren and placed a hand on his shoulder. "Human," he said quietly, "you have done what no healer, no noble, no machine could do. You saved the heir of the Draken line. You saved our future." The queen stepped beside him. "Your name will be honored in our halls for centuries." Darren felt overwhelmed. "I didn't want fame. I only wanted her to live." Lysara moved closer. She lowered her head slightly, a gesture of deep respect in her culture. "You gave me more than life. You gave me understanding. Our bond, it changed everything." Darren looked at her glowing eyes. He could still feel their connection, warm, quiet, alive. The healer bowed. "The first flame has awakened. And the one who guided it was a simple human. This changes our history." The nobles murmured in awe. The guards looked at Darren with new respect. For the first time, Darren didn't feel small. He felt like someone who mattered. Lysara stepped beside him, her wing brushing his arm lightly. "You are not just a mechanic anymore. You are the human who saved a dragon royal." And in that moment, surrounded by light, respect, and a bond stronger than fate, Darren finally believed it.